holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy.
Good morning, Parker CSL. You ready to sing? It's a good day. It's a beautiful Sunday. Here we go. We come and celebrate family. I'm sorry, we have come. We have come here as we are. I certainly have. Shouts of praise, Spirit's in this place. Here we go. We sing in celebration. They have to follow me. We sing with words of prayer. We sing with words of prayer. We affirm our life as sacred. We declare that peace is here. Oh, Spirit is in this place. Spirit is in this place. Can you feel it? In this, Spirit is in this place. In this, raise the roof with shouts of praise. Spirit's in this place. Yeah, this band, welcome. Sonia. Hello, hello.
It's on.
It is on?
It's on. He's going to bring volume.
Oh, okay.
There
Good
you are.
morning,
There
everybody.
you
I'm Janice DeBaca, a member here, and we want to welcome everybody who's here today. It's wonderful to see your bright, shiny faces, and I welcome you, whether you've been part of CSL Parker for years or if this is your first time. This is such a wonderful place to be, and we hope that all of you that are here today will find that bit of spiritual information and depth that you're looking for, and also know that I think this is a spiritual community, but it can also be a spiritual family, which is what it's become for me. So welcome, and just sending all that out to everybody. We have a few announcements. Number one, if you are welcome here, or if you are new here, you are welcome, but if you're new, yes, there is a welcoming packet at the table there near the front. And we also have a couple of sign-in sheets over at this table. One is for the altar, which our altar is so lovely today, and Pam Eichenberger is the one that did that. So thank you, Pam. And we have a sign-up sheet for anyone who might be interested in doing the altar table. And it's really kind of a gift from the heart for those of us that decide to take that on occasionally or for a month at a time. So please consider that if you are so inclined. We also want to let everyone know that there is a new list of classes at the education table, and Dr. Vern will be there after church. So if you have questions, you can talk to him. But we have, let's see, good vibrations, I'm just going to read the titles here. So that's obviously one for people that want to dance and have a lot of fun with music.
Sing the song.
Dr. Vern could tell you about that. Grounded in Love, Unlock Your Potential, Empower Your Decisions. Musings on My Life, a writing workshop. So anyway, these all sound like something to consider. And again, whether it's the Sunday service or one of the classes, it's all about just bringing us into our own spirituality and whatever that looks like. And I love that about CSL Parker, that it's very individualized. There's not the dogma, there's not the, oh, you're breaking the rules. I love that the rules are actually whatever comes to each of us as individuals from Spirit. And I'm just going on and on. We also are very blessed and lucky, and it's such a gift to have as many practitioners here at CSL Parker. And if you see somebody in a white stole and you feel like, oh my gosh, my heart is overwhelmed with joy today, or if you feel like, oh wow, it's been a tough week or a tough year and I just need to unload a little bit and have somebody to remind me about the goodness in this world and the goodness in our lives. The practitioners are here, so anyone with the white stole would love to pray with you. And they do such a good job with bringing us back and helping us remember who we are and the potential that all of us have. Let's see. There is also an announcement from Bob that we need help to be part of the parking lot team for the following dates, June 8th, well, it looks like every Sunday in June, and as well as July 16th and 13th. So please see Bob. Bob, would you raise your hand? Bob, would you raise your hand? Anyone that's interested in helping to divert and guide people in the parking lot?
We start again in July. When does it start?
This was the last Sunday.
Okay, this is the last Sunday in June. It starts up again July 14th.
Okay.
Till the end of the summer.
Until the end of summer. Okay, so anyone who's interested in helping with parking lot duty, see Bob, and he will give you specific dates. How's that? But it will be 8 weeks off. Okay. So it does mean that you would be starting at about 8:30 to 8:45, and you would wrap up at about 10:15 a.m. So the other announcement is that after the service next week, we have the men's ministry, and we want the men to bring themselves, bring their heart, bring your love for one and another. And the topic for the week will be posted in the weekly newsletter, which everyone will get online. There's also a women's ministry next week, and I'm not sure what the topic is.
We have Dr. Nadine Cox. She's retired from
Dr. Nadine Cox will be here for the women's ministry, and she's retired from Mile High Church. So I'm sure that will be wonderful too. And now it is time for our practitioner, Liz, to come up.
Thank you, Janice. I have just a short reading for you all this morning, and then we're going to just dive right into prayer. So, this is a piece from Living as God. It's a book written by P. Raymond Stewart. And he says, "We are as important to God as God is to us. Through us does the one come to know itself in form. Through us, God's experience of itself is made complete. We are God experienced and expressed. We are the living God, the living God. The kingdom is at hand, for it is in our hands now. It is within us. We don't need to grasp for air. We simply need to breathe. Similarly, there is no need to grasp for God. God is omnipresent. It is by our awareness of this that we enter into a whole new dimension of peace. Let us abide in and act from this realization. And if you'll join me in prayer. So from our hearts and from the realization that we are made in the likeness and image of God, and that every good thing, all the wisdom, all the goodness, all the magic and mystery is right here within us. It is at hand. We simply need to open our hearts and open our awareness to the magnificence that we have within us. It is simply a need to be open and be willing and to know our worthiness and that we are deeply loved. So from this loving place, I welcome everyone here. I know that this service today is full of love and full of joy and full of inspiration. And I am in such deep, deep gratitude for this opportunity to pray, to speak my word, to speak my truth, to stand in my truth, knowing that I am that, and I am here to share it, just as each person here, when they drop into their hearts, they too know what a gift each of you are. So for this prayer and for this time and for this knowing and for these words that hold power, I let this go into the creative force. And join me in saying, and so it is.
Can you just read that and take that into your heart? Because that's who we are. Come, take a hand. Come, give your heart. Come, as you are. Come, come, come. Lift your voice, come, shine your light, come, now is the time, come, come. This day we made with God. Come see what love has done. Come, take a hand. Come, give your heart. Come, as you are. Come, come, take a hand. Come, shine your light. Come, now is the time, come, come. As we gather in this sacred space,
So I want to invite us to do something a little different today in our meditation. As we talk about coming together, just as we are, right here, right now, I want to invite you to stand if you're willing and able and really take the hand of the person next to you. And let us join together, breathing in that space of knowing. Breathe into your heart, feeling the love that radiates in your heart, from your heart, and just imagine that love extending down your arm and into the hand and through your hands to each other. And we come together, holding each other in this energy of love, joining together as one heart, one mind, one love. That we are a community of love and light. And we support each other right where we are, no matter where that is. We find ourselves in this space, right here, right now. We come just as we are. Just as we are. And we are loved just as we are. We are accepted just as we are. We are embraced just as we are. And so breathe that into your heart right now as you just open yourself to the love that is present in this space. Feel that love just radiating through this space today. And I invite you to feel that same acceptance and love and valuing for yourself right here, right now. Know that you are love expressing. Know that you are loved, awakening to itself as love, knowing that you are loved, and no matter what, you are loved right where you are. And so I invite us as we take just a short time in silence to open to that space, just recognizing anything that might come up, that might tend to be a vibration that would argue with that truth. And allow love to surround it. Allow the love that you feel in this space with each other and for each other to dissipate any doubt that you are loved, that you are perfect, just as you are, right where you are, with every breath. And so we come together just as we are, right here, right now, claiming love, sharing love, expressing love, being the very essence of love. Feel that love radiating through your body. Feel that love with every cell of your being. Breathe in that love, and as you breathe in, ground that love all the way down through the bottom of your feet. And we share that love with Mother Earth. And we share that love with all of creation, all of humanity, all of life, knowing we are one. Just as we are love, and we are loved. So breathe it in as we join together, and Cheryl leads us once again in the song. And if you know it, sing along.
Yeah. Come, take a hand. Come, give your heart. Come, as you are. Come, 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 with your
Take a deep breath and let us join together and declare it together. And so it is.
Beautiful. Ooh, I
So,
felt that. Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
thank you. So last week we began a new tradition here. I've invited people to come and share a little bit about what CSL Parker has meant in their lives. And so Liz Rudberg is going to share this morning. We have somebody sharing next week, but if you would be interested and willing to do that, not just for us, but remember that this service goes out on YouTube. Pons is so great about getting it posted very early. And other people can listen. Other people will hear how much this teaching and this place has impacted your life. So know that you are not just talking, you are ministering, and you're sharing with other people when you share your experience. So Liz, come on up. Your turn now. I'll shut up now and you can talk.
You do this. Okay. So this is different for me because normally when I'm up here, I'm either reading or my eyes are closed while I'm praying. So I get to look at you all. This is nice. So my journey, I'll keep it brief, I promise, was raised in Breckenridge, Colorado, no religion. Outdoors, nature was religion. So aside from a brief stint with Catholicism, because I had a brief stint with a husband who was Catholic, that is it for me in terms of any kind of exposure to religion of any kind. So fast forward, my mother calls me from Florida and starts spouting off about this group that she's found, religious science, science of mind, all this, and I'm, great, Mom, cool for you. And then she goes to, they have the big Asilomar gathering in California, Monterey, and all the ministers come and they have a whole week where it's all talks and songs and people gather and they have a whole teen group that's there. And so my mom comes home from that and calls me and she is just flying. I mean, she's like, oh my God, this experience was amazing. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. And she says, next summer, I'm bringing your 2 children with me because church camp is so much fun and they'll be on the beach and they'll be singing and doing arts and crafts. It's gonna be so great. And I'm like, yeah. Well, Christmas comes around and my kids each get plane tickets in the mail. And my husband looks at me and goes, where is your mother taking our children? What is this again? And I'm like, hell if I know, I don't know, whatever. And so he says, you have to go with them. I mean, you can't just send them off with your mother. I mean, so I go with my kids to Asilomar in 2004, and I am just immersed in this whole teaching. And it changed my life. There's no other way to put it. So I come home from Asilomar, I find a church here in Denver, and I immediately start studying. I am immediately on the board. I'm a practitioner. I am running the teen group, and it's all really good until I allow myself to get overwhelmed and burnt out. So I said I'm going to take a leave of absence, and I left, and for a number of years, it was just me and God, and no going to church every Sunday, no going to board meetings, no planning teen groups, blah, blah, blah. And then some crap hits, and life starts to get a little hairy, and my dear friend Jeanette says, you know what you need? You need to come and take a class from Dr. Vern, and then you need to get your butt back to church. And here I am. So this teaching has deeply changed my life. I was a ship adrift and searching for something, I didn't know what. And the minute I walked into this church, I knew I was home. This is my family of choice. I have a lovely family. I mean, I love them a lot, but this is my family of choice, and this teaching has grounded me in a way that I could have never imagined. And I can tell you, if you knew me 25 years ago, this is not the same person. This really isn't. This is still the same joyful, goofy, whatever person, but this person has a deep faith and a truly remarkable life that is easier and that is full of love and joy. And there's no other way to put it except for that I am renewed, and I am joyful, and I am abundant, and life is beautiful. And I have Jeanette Benez to thank. I have my mother to thank, and our wonderful ministers here, Dr. Vern, Reverend David, all of y'all, and this incredible music. So thank you all. There's just, my heart is overflowing with love.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
That was so beautiful, Liz. So I want you to think about that first time where you felt this. You walked through those doors and it called home to you. Take that in. This song is about that. This song is about how we all ended up here, sitting right here, right now. And we were drawn by the sound of a drum. So here we go. Today, how you found your way through this forest of demons and dangers. On the road that you traveled, the ship that you sailed, in this circle you're no longer a stranger. We've arrived at this clearing from every direction. We were called by the sound of a drum to a fire in the darkness, a light on the road, and a voice that simply said, come, please come. We are held in the hands of spirit, lifted on strong arms of love. Your soul has a song, can you hear it? It will help you rise up above. We'll continue this journey together. Through our hearts is the only way home. There is no storm you can't weather when you know you are never alone. Sonia? We fell when we stumbled in traps and surprises. But just rest for a while, take comfort and smile in spirit in all its disguises. Yeah. We've arrived at this clearing from every direction. We were drawn by the sound of a drum to a fire in the darkness, a light on the road, and a voice that simply said, come, please come. You are held in the hands of spirit, lifted on strong arms of love. Your soul has a song, now can you hear it? Will help you rise up above. Here we go, we're going to continue. We'll continue this story together. Through our hearts is the only way home. There is no storm you can't weather when we know you are never alone.
right. Thank you, all of you. What great energy this morning. So I have the pleasure of introducing our guest speaker today. I knew I was going to do this because when Reverend Chris came in this morning, I said, please remind me or tell me how to pronounce your last name, and he gave me 3 different pronunciations. So I'm like, okay, is it Reverend Chris Lahiff, Lahiff? I don't know, but Reverend Chris, I'll just read his short bio here, licensed minister in Centers for Spiritual Living. He most recently served as the spiritual director in Cape Coral, Florida. He's passionate about his spiritual growth. He's a family man. He has 2 children, and he and his wife and children live in Highlands Ranch now. Thank you for that. And he is in the process of starting a ministry. Well, maybe he can tell you what a focused ministry is. But what I want to say personally is that I've had the opportunity to spend a little time with Chris a couple of times when we've had lunch together. And I wanted to invite him to come and speak today because I really just feel a kinship. I feel his spirit, his soul, and I think that's... I'm looking forward to experiencing him as he speaks to us this morning. So please join me in welcoming Reverend Chris.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. It's so wonderful to be here. I was told I should stay in the square, but
I don't stay anywhere.
I was also told that you don't stay anywhere. Which is good. It's good. It's good to move around. Good to be free. I wanted to start this morning with a story. It's a story I just heard recently, and it really resonated with me because it's what we need in this world. And so, kind of an unlikely, in my mind, place where this kind of story comes from, but he was a young, well, at this point, middle-aged police officer. But he was talking about when he was a rookie. He's like, I was a rookie. And right off the bat, I get a call, and there was a foot chase. And so I go, they've already apprehended the person. He comes to the scene, he gets help. He's like, this guy is seething. He is so angry. And his immediate boss tells him, he's like, we're going to have you take him in because we think he'll be more comfortable with you. And the guy's like, okay, I'll do that. He's like, now there's a procedure. Normally you pat him down. I have to get my cuffs on him, get the cuffs back to the other person, all of that stuff. But I didn't do it this time because the guy that cuffed him was a really high up person, and he didn't, as a rookie, didn't want to come and say, like, I don't trust your work. And so he gets his cuffs on him. He's ready to take him off when the EMT says he needs to get some stitches. You need to get him to the hospital before you take him in. He's like, okay. So he takes him to the hospital. He uncuffs him. And he sticks, one cuff on the gurney, and then they have to sit and wait. It's an ER. If you've ever been, they take a little while. And so he's like, I look at this guy, and I feel so bad for him. He's like, you can just see the dejection, the brokenness inside, and he feels for him. And so he just sits with him. They talk. He's like, I'm vibing with him better than I am with my boss. He's like, it's just a decent dude. And then, they get it all wrapped up and off to lockup. They get over there, and up until this point, he's just been John Doe because he refused to give his name. But he's like, you've treated me nicely today. I'm going to tell you my name. He's like, okay, great. And he enters it into the computer, and all of a sudden, boom, all these alarms start going off. It's like FBI's most wanted for murder. He's like, holy cow, this is kind of a big deal. So the next step then is to get him booked in. He takes him in. He says the guy that does all of that, checking in, is his pal. And he's, as he's like back in the other room, he hears this guy screaming, Chris! The officer's name was Chris as well. Dude, you missed something. Comes in. The guy had a knife on him that was like this big. And, everything fine. They got him printed and all of that, intake done. But then at some point when they're transporting him, the guy's like, if you didn't treat me so kindly, I could have and I would have killed you in the hospital. He had the opportunity, but he was treated as a human being. So kindness saved this person's life. kindness is what this world needs. And it's one of my favorite podcast hosts says this statement all the time. It's the good kind of selfish. Be selfish. It's in your best interest to treat people kindly. So when I first came here, I really resonated with Reverend David. I do feel a kinship. I resonated with the vision statement, a world awakened to love. That's one of my main core messages that I've shared for years now. Is I use my hand and I say love with the capital L. It's the entire force of the universe. It's the biggest love you've ever felt here in this world. Maybe unconditional love for a child or a pet or a touching moment that you've seen. It's that multiplied by like 1,000. That is love with a capital L. You can replace that word with God. You can replace it with the universe. It's all the same thing. It's a state. It's an energy. It's a frequency. So then that mission, we inspire and radiate the transforming power of love. So I felt it when I first came here. So I wanted to thank David for having me here today. I also wanted to thank David for giving me an excuse to read a book. Because reading books, that's one of the action steps, which is rung 5 for the 8 rungs of the ladder is action. And so if you're anything like me, I get books and they go on the stack. I'm like, yeah, I'm excited. I'm going to read that one. And then life happens, and then self-help becomes shelf-help, because it just piles up. And so I really appreciate the opportunity to think in different ways. I'm really resonating with this author. And so I wanted to thank you for that. But I also wanted to thank all of you, one, for welcoming me into your spiritual home. I've been here a couple times before. I bring my daughter with me usually. She loves it here as well. And I also wanted to thank you for doing what you're doing. I don't know if you've noticed that there's a little craziness out in the world. It was to be expected. I don't know if we can never know what something's going to look like. But in Centers for Spiritual Living, in other metaphysical groups and sources of content in the spiritual realm, we've been talking about this for a long time, that there is a shift in consciousness, that we are evolving as a species, that we are leaving the old ways behind and embracing a new way of being. All this time that we've talked about it, we talk about its critical mass. When we achieve a high enough amount of people that are now choosing to shift their energy and their consciousness in a kinder and a less violent way, that when we hit critical mass, then the shift happens and we all wake up and a whole new way of being on this planet emerges. But if you're like me and like others, it kind of gives you that idea that critical mass, I'm just standing here like kind of waiting, like, come on people, hit that critical mass so everything's going to be great. And then I'll work on myself and I'll find a peace within myself. But that's the thing. Like, if peace happened out there right now today and I didn't have it inside, I wouldn't experience it. And it's not going to happen out there until I experience it in here. And so my heart goes out to people on any spiritual path. But I really love Centers for Spiritual Living because I like the philosophy that our founder, Ernest Holmes, developed, which looked at all world religions. He looked at indigenous cultures. He looked at nature paths. Just everything, and he found what he called the golden thread of truth, that there are certain things that are in all of these different philosophies. If we focus on those things, there's probably some truth to that. But as opposed to the dogma, and Janice was talking about that earlier, that that's what we like about Centers for Spiritual Living. There's no rules that say you have to do this or you're done. You have to do it this way or you're done. Ernest Holmes, from the very beginning, the reason why he called it a science of mind is because he said, don't take my word for it, try it. Take these different practices and different ways of thinking and apply them in your life and see if it shifts. And so this book is a wonderful book because it's showing a completely different way of looking at our spirituality. As Reverend David talked about last week, the author comes from the Choctaw Nation, and he's also an Episcopalian minister. It's an interesting combination. Weird approach here to sideways. And so when he talked about our religious institutions, in a lot of people's minds, they feel like they've failed us. There's distrust. There's been televangelists that have philandered. There's other priests who have gotten in awful child abuse situations. And he says, so then what do we do? What do we do when we lose faith in some of our religious institutions? And he says the Native American way is we do the unexpected. And that's what the whole shift is about. We keep doing things. I want to put this in the first person. That's all I can talk about. I hear myself sometimes talking up here, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm preachy again. I'm really preachy, telling people how to live. That's definitely not what I want to do. I'm speaking to myself. So whenever you hear me sounding bossy, just know I'm talking to myself and reminding myself. And then for you, whatever sounds, if there's anything that resonates with you, then it's yours to take on. Like Ernest Holmes said, pick and choose and see what works. So do anything unexpected. I really like the build up in this book of how it goes from faith to blessing, and then in hope, chapter 3. So it's the natural progression. You have to have the faith and the blessing. And when you recognize that, then that's where you start to build hope from, a progression. And so one of my favorite quotes in here, in page 96 of the book, he says, celebrating what we hope for together is better than fighting over what we believe separately. And so when the American Indian cultures would come together, they didn't focus on their different tribal norms of what we do here. We do that different. You can't do it like that here. We're going to come together and we're going to dance. And we're going to talk about hope. We all have hope for rain. We all have hope for community. We all have hope for a good harvest, for our health, for love. We all have that. And that's what we're going to focus on. And so that's a powerful reminder in this book that we are always growing. That shift is speaking to us and through us and as us. It's that little voice that whispers, that says, maybe get out of bed and go to CSL Parker today. And that tired part of me is like, I don't know. There's just so much going on. How's everybody feeling in general lately? How do you feel about the trajectory that the human race is on? Is it more towards optimism or more towards fear right now? How's everybody kind of feeling? Optimism. Hopeful. That's why I love Centers for Spiritual Living. Because we know. I heard Reverend David say, I want to say a couple weeks ago, we're in the world but not of it. Be in the world but not of it. So we have things to do. We have steps to take. But if you're like me, I really want to see this shift happen. I want to see it take hold. I realized, this goes back to 2020 when I had this realization. I realized that there was a part of me that was repeating this thing that I heard others say. And it's like we talk about this shift. We talk about world peace. And then we follow it up with, but it's not going to happen in my lifetime. But we're planting the seeds. But then I realized, Why not? It absolutely can happen in our lifetime. It can happen anytime. And then I thought about my children. And when we talk about a new way of being, that means that the old ways are going to kind of crumble away, and that could be messy. That can bring up a lot of stuff. And I want to know that that shift is taking place before I leave this planet, because I don't want my children to go through that messy stuff alone. And I know they're never alone, but I still wanted to be here. And so then that's when I realized, like, it was a huge shift for me. It was an epiphany. I realized, like, all this time I've been talking and learning about this and believing that something's happening, but I wasn't really believing. Do you believe that a shift is happening? Do you see more and more people out in the world that when you bring up the subject of this person that you just heard channeling this message from the Pleiadians, and somebody's like, I know who you're talking about. Have you noticed, like, the podcasts and spirituality's gone mainstream? I love that Science of Mind has been talking about this for 100 years now, plus. It feels like this is the Super Bowl moment. Like, we are now at a place where we take what we've learned. I mean, we've been doing it, but the way that this book talks about, we go into the kiva, we go down into the dark hole, and we sit, we ask questions, we just observe, and then we emerge back to the light with a newfound sense of who we are. The micro to the macro. So from the individual level to a community to a collective level, it's the fractal nature of the universe. It's all the same. And so I know practitioners know this, and I know people that have taken some classes are probably figuring this out as well, and people just doing individual work on yourselves. When we make that decision and we start to tap in and like, yeah, there is something bigger than myself, and it is whispering to me, and I am starting to take classes and learn a little bit about myself. It's wonderful, but look out, because as the practitioners will tell you, it dredges up childhood memories, childhood traumas, things that maybe we did that we feel guilty about, trudges up people that have hurt us and people that we have hurt. And it can be painful, and it can be easier to, like, I just want to stuff it out, and I'm not going to even think about it. And so that shuts down a lot of people. It makes a lot of people afraid to even go into that. But if you've done the work, and you keep, as they say, there's no way around it, you just keep going through it, you recognize that it all happened it all brought gifts. I don't necessarily mean that it happened for a reason, but everything that happened did bring a gift in hindsight. And so the way that works, and that pain and that dredge and the things that we don't want to look at ourselves, it happens on the collective level too. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing lots of people that are standing up and saying, now is the time for greater love, greater compassion. We've got the resources, we just need to get them to more people, but we can do this. And we have a lot of people that aren't ready, that's terrifying. And there's still a lot of, just like on the individual level, some of those things that you may not want to recall about your childhood, but they pop up when you start doing the spiritual work. That's what's happening on a collective as well. We are seeing the traumas of our past. We're seeing the pains. We're seeing the hurt. And more people are saying, please hear me. This isn't working for me. And there's still a lot of people that it is working for, and that's the kind of tug of war right now. But it certainly gives me so much hope to just know. Like I said, when we start building something new, we don't have to worry so much about what we fight against and tear down the old. Build the new, the old will dissipate on its own. And as chapter 5 says, we take action where we're called to. And so what he talked about at the beginning of the chapter is he likened the spiritual books and self-help stuff to meringue on pie. And he says, it's lovely, it's sweet, it looks gorgeous, it's decoration, but it's not very substantive. There's not much substance to it. So he said, what we need is like a clear path to action in there. And where he ends up, his recommendation for the action, I think is exactly what we need. So I'm going to read one of his Facebook posts. So Reverend David talked about that last week, that there's little like italicized sections in the book that he sat down, meditated, and had the message and then put it out there. And then now he's compiled them all in this book. And so, that's not the right. This one here, he just says, there is no stranger. There is no stranger. Who would you not feed if they came to you hungry? Who would you turn away if they were in need? There is no stranger at your door, only a reflection of yourself. Standing there, hands outstretched in a different time at a different door. Hospitality is not charity, but recognition. Hospitality is the endless deja vu of the sacred. We have all been here before. We have all felt this way before. We are as alike as hunger. When we give to one another, we acknowledge that we are not strangers, never strangers, but a family in search of itself. A tribe gone wandering, now finding its way home. When we feed one another, we feed ourselves. Everybody being kind to yourselves during this time. Are you feeding yourselves? Okay. Yeah. So, as my bio mentioned, I was in CSL Cape Coral for the last couple of years, and then I've recently moved back here. Colorado's home, Wyoming's home. But we truly are, wherever we are. When we go within and we find that voice within us that speaks, that is the one thing. That is the one consciousness of what everything is. Consciousness is the foundation. It's the opposite of what the physical sciences have been telling us forever, that somehow this brain magically produces consciousness. More and more people are coming out, and science is getting inklings too that model might be incorrect, that it's actually the foundation was the consciousness that found a way to experience itself, and that's where everything comes out of. So at that level, we are all one. If you pull back from the universe, logically you can't argue that there's more than one. Even if you believe in the multiverse theory, there's one group of multiverses. It's only one. And so whatever we know within ourselves is known everywhere. And so our key, my key right now, is to keep my vibration in a good place, because I'm finding myself up and down. I find myself doom scrolling for longer than I would like to admit. And it's easy to get kind of lowered vibration. I can find myself reacting to things that people have said in the news, or things that have happened politically. I can find myself getting upset, and I want to see change. But change has to happen within here. And it's a ripple effect, and it's slow and gradual. But practices and action are what we have to remind ourselves. We have to keep coming back to the things that raise my vibration. If I'm lost in the news, I can feel it. I start to, it's part of my ADHD as well. I start to distract myself. I start to procrastinate. I start to feel, I know when I'm there because I start to get irritable. And I'll snap at one of my kids for something that's pretty mundane, and it feels like the world to me. Like, oh, I can't believe that happened. And luckily, I catch myself and I come back time and time again. It's the same thing of meditation. How meditation for a lot of people is intimidating because my mind keeps thinking of other things. Well, that's what the mind does. But the win is every time we remember to bring ourselves back. And so, when I find myself in the world getting caught up and I find myself being irritable, that's my gift that I have let my vibration come back down. And so that's when okay, no more scrolling for the rest of the day. What's a practice I can do? Maybe it's just to walk around my block. Little things. We have to have the tools. We have to know when to take the action. Now, the author's suggestion in the book of, what kind of actions can we take? How can we think differently? One of his suggestions in this chapter was pretty amazing. And he said we need to come together with people of different faiths. Again, the science of mind correlation is awesome because this can work with any faith that you already have. And then he said, somebody asked, well, are you saying that you would expect Muslims and Christians and Jews and Buddhists to all come together with no agenda and just let them be? And he said, yes. The only agenda, aside from sharing a meal, is to maybe share pictures of your children, share stories, funny stories about your family. We don't need to talk about the ideologies and the things of, this is the way my God is. How's that different from your God? And oh no, I don't like that. We don't have to worry about those things because we have the commonalities. We are so much more. I know we hear it a lot. There's so much more that we have in common than those things that divide us. And the way to foster that into this world is by kindness. The police officer, just treating somebody with respect and kindness. Here's a police officer. I love when I see this message coming from the big burly guys that you wouldn't want to cross paths with in a dark alley. That so many people talk about kindness as a weakness. That empathy is making you soft. But I disagree. I think that anger is a weakness. I think that acting out in violence and bravado is a mask for insecurity. But kindness, you feel it when you're kind. You feel it when somebody's kind to somebody else. You see somebody kind. Your body, just by witnessing, releases the same feel-good hormones in your body. Again, that's just another iteration of how consciousness forms our reality. That the actual witnessing, without moving, without doing anything, just seeing somebody do a good deed for somebody else, in my mind says that's good. Here's some oxytocin. Here's... I don't know all the names of the different hormones, but you know where I'm going with that. Just by witnessing it. It's part of our DNA. It is how we were created out of consciousness, that the things that help us collectively, they feel good. And the things that don't help us, they don't feel good. And we see it, and I can feel it. I get into my keyboard warrior mode where I want to, argue with everybody on the internet. I go, no, this idiot said this, and I'm going to go. That's pulling me down into that energy. So we can take our steps in action. Like the police officer, he had a job to do. He had to do something that was probably hard because you got negative energy coming at you all the time. People don't like being locked up. But he was still able to do it with kindness. We can still speak up, speak our truth to power and speak up where we want change, but we can do it kindly. We can do it with respect, with just allowing people their common dignity. Nobody's got it all figured out. Nobody. And there's a lot of people that I think have it so backwards from what I think, 180 degrees. But I can still see the humanity in them. And as the saying goes, there but for the grace of God go I. If I had the same circumstances as other people, scientists have said you would do the exact same thing. If you were in that exact person's shoes with their life traumas, their history, you would do the exact same thing or feel the same way that person's thinking. So how do I speak up for truth? How do I speak up for human rights without causing the harm that I'm fighting against? And that's, one of the keys is to not become that which you're fighting. So the talk is kind of turned away a little bit, Reverend David style. And so, the thing that I want to leave with the most is remembering that spark of life that's within you. It is the divine, and it is infinite, and it has existed as long as existence has existed, and it always will, and nothing can ever harm it. These physical bodies, this personality known as Chris, it's temporary. It's here for that consciousness to know itself. So we come in and we play our individual roles. We may feel that we don't have much power when there's 8 billion people on this planet, and what appears to be major hurdles that a lot of people don't think we could even overcome, even if we wanted to try. But that spark that's within us is always pushing us forward. It's always whispering, it's always inspiring. And I might feel it one day, and the next day I might be tired and not feel it. And so I don't want to beat up on myself. I don't want anybody to beat up on themselves. Just remind yourself, like on the seesaw or a balance, paying attention to where we are. Am I more in that kind of fearful place when I feel like I'm starting to get irritable, I'm starting to feel pessimistic, I'm starting to get anxious and constricted? Or drawing my attention back like, no, wait, I know that my consciousness contributes. I know that by choosing to smile at this person walking by me, as opposed to just walking on as if I don't know them, I don't see them, taking any little step outside of ourselves, a little big, doesn't matter, act of kindness shifts that balance. And that's where the critical mass is going to come. That's where in your own life, I love your story about how the science of mind and centers for spiritual living have changed. That's where my life has shifted too. And it's crazy, like the things that still come up, the things that I've dealt with 5 times throughout my journey, like I can't believe this one's coming up again. But now I'm different. So now I deal with it in a different way. So collectively on those scales and individually, I had a pretty good life, a good upbringing. Like pretty privileged. I had lots of opportunities that I squandered, pretty much all of them. But I know I had, a good life. But I was never really happy. I had happy moments, but not joyous moments. And I spent a lot of life, kind of in a dark place. I've had some history with depression. But after finding this back in 2009, and starting to, understand how I was perpetuating a lot of those feelings and thoughts, negative thoughts about myself, inferior, insecure thoughts, things started to shift. And when I got to that place where I reminded myself enough, I could start to, where I'm going with this is that I have since experienced levels of joy that I would have never thought possible. I didn't. I had moments of happiness that I thought I was on cloud 9 all my life, but then I would dip down back into the lows and kind of forget about them, and then back up. Tears of joy, that's where I'm going with this. Has anybody, do you experience tears of joy? And the more that we recharge ourselves and keep our vibration there, beauty is all around us. Kindness is there. And so, like the author, suggests, like, get together with people only for the purpose to share stories, pictures of our children, and that's how we shift the world. So the very last thing that I want to talk about for the idea of action is that make a plan. I need to make a plan. It's like the self-help books. We read it like, oh, that's great. That's a good idea. I'm going to do that. Put it on, or we come to Sunday service. Great idea. And then we walk out. And then we come back next Sunday, and the minister says, so how did you do that thing? And you're like, oh, I didn't. Completely forgot. We have to make a plan. So I encourage us to, what's one thing that we can do this week? What's one thing that I can do to let, maybe it's somebody I know that's having a hard time, just let them know I see them. Maybe it's one thing, maybe one letter that I can write and send off to my legislator. What's one thing? Making a plan. A daily reminder that I forgot to shut off. And just because anything that you do outside of your norm, like my norm now is different than my norm used to be. I've grown. And so now that's my base level of my spiritual practices, of my good gestures towards others. I got a long ways to go on that, but I'm working on it. Occasionally I remember to do those things. But to change the world, walking down the street, I'm going to use an example, just walking down the street and you see something on the ground, you're like, oh, somebody should pick that up. You are that somebody, but what I want to say is you pick it up, you literally made the world a better place. And you can visibly look at it and say, it does look better. You can say a kind word to a stranger at the store and you see a smile come on their face. If it was something that you wouldn't have done otherwise, you literally just stepped outside of yourself and made the world a better place. A smile raises our vibration collectively. One. And we think that those are small things, but they're not. Those are the exact things that this world needs. So with that, I'm going to take it into prayer. Thank you, practitioners. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Knowing that it is Spirit here in this house, showing up as each individual here. That consciousness, that is love. That is the only thing that matters. And everything that shows up in this world that appears to be different than that huge, enormous love with a capital L is actually still that love, just disguised as a way to point us back to love and to know it for the first time. So the universe, as the book said, Spirit is a maker. Spirit makes things. Galaxies spiraling with billions of stars, uncountable planets. Still having the time to grow a blade of grass. Still have that same impulse within us that pushes us and aspire to higher reaches, knowing that there is a love, that there is an abundance in this universe, and it wants to serve. So I know that everything that's happening right now on this planet, no matter where we all fall on the ideological spectrums, it's all happening for you, for me, for we are one. It's happening for that one consciousness. It's on that constant upward spiral of greater love, of greater expansion, of greater presence. And everything's going to be okay. That divine spark of life that's within every single human being, every single living thing, and indeed at the subatomic level of everything, that spark is divine, whole, and complete, and each and every one of us are that. So sensing, I invite you to sense that life force energy within you without moving your body. Can you feel it? Gentle tingling within. That is spirit. That is your true self that wishes peace, wishes harmony, kindness, compassion, equity, that allows greater expansion of ideas, greater imaginings of what our future can look like. And it all begins within. Single act of kindness to ourselves, to others, as we recognize that divine life. So in gratitude for it all, in gratitude for everybody on their own individual path, let's take a moment and allow that gratitude to fester. Be grateful for today. And may we allow that to continue to expand and reach out. So it's that divine spark of life. You are whole, powerful, and complete. And that ripple effect is changing the world. One thought, one smile, one action at a time. And so it is.
So it is. We let it be. We let it be. Just sing this one time through. We let the love wash over us. Here we go. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let it be last time. We let it be.
Thank you. Thank you, Reverend Chris, for your words. Thank you so much. Appreciate you And so now is a time in our service where we have the opportunity to support the ministry through our gifts and our offerings this morning. I know many of you give electronically, you give recurringly, and we're so grateful. We're so abundant and so blessed. So thank you for that. If you're going to share today, please hold it in your hands, hold it right here, knowing that it is an expression of that divine essence, the love that you are. And so we give and we receive, knowing that that love is all that we are, all that we give, and all that we receive. And in that awareness, we are grateful. And let us say together, and so it is.
Yeah, Parker, you want to raise this vibration in this room? Here we go. Starting with John. It's all about that, raising our vibrations. We're going to do it right now. There is no holding back the power in this room right now. Rising up like a voice of love. There's no way to come down. Here we go. Every soul is a soul on fire, burning bright with the light of light. Here we are, open wide, so high we cannot hide. We sing out. We sing out. We sing. That's how we feel it. We sing. We sing out. We sing. And we do this. Spirit move. Our hands and feet. Spirit move. Everything. Spirit move. In the space between. Spirit move. Like a river deep and wide, rolling out like a mighty flood. Love's filling all our hearts and pouring out of us. Feel it breaking down the walls, building everybody up. It's taking over now. There's no way it can stop. Here we go. So we sing out. What? We sing. Sing that again. Come on. We sing out. We sing. We sing out. So we sing. Thanks for following me. We sing. Come on, Parker. We sing. Spirit move. Our hands and feet. Spirit move. Everything. Spirit move. In the space between. Spirit move. How about now, Sonia? We're just jumping all over. She's gonna play a little more. Here we go. We sing out. We sing. Sorry. We sing out. We sing. We sing out. We sing. We're taking it home. We sing out. We sing. Spirit move. Our hands and feet. Spirit move. Everything. Spirit move. In the space between. Spirit move. Spirit move. Spirit move. Spirit move. We end it together.
So, as we're standing, just feel that Spirit moving in and through and as each of us. We know that Spirit flows in us through all of the abundance that we give and we receive, and we are so grateful. Feel that sense of gratitude right here, right now. Feeling the gratitude rising up in you, knowing that we are so grateful for all the gifts that we enjoy. We are blessed, and together let us proclaim, and so it is. Sing us out.
So let there be peace. I am a stand.
So go out and make a plan. Do those ractum.
We should start at the beginning.
What is the word I wanted to use? Random acts of kindness. All right, well, sorry about that. Blessings on your week. Have a great one.